For nearly a decade, you've been asking Jason questions. But did anyone think to fact check this guy? This is the Audit Jason Show. Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Piercy, and this is the Audit Jason Show. This is the real estate-based, world's most self-indulgent, egomaniacal show because it's me looking at videos I did 10 years ago and auditing them for the quality of their content. So I'm really doubling down on my desire to have videos watched on the internet. But it's, in reality, meant to be super informative for you, and it will be. And this one that we're going to talk about today is episode 17 of what used to be called the Ask Jason Show. There's several seasons of playlists on this channel. I can probably link one of those here. And this one probably was the most widely watched and well received and shared on Facebook, where the show initially lived. This is where it initially lived. Initially, whatever, and I think that's interesting, and I'm just excited about this one because it was one that did well on the internet back when the internet began, which is what it feels like. Obviously, it's not, but to me, I mean, I feel like the 90s was 10 years ago. Because that was when what I grew up in was the 90s, right? Which reminds me, Stephen Wilson Jr., do you know who I'm talking about? Singer, songwriter, kind of country, kind of folk rock. Anyway, he has a song called Year to Be Young, 1994. Do you know what? Yeah, anyway, we'll listen to it out. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, let's watch this old Ask Jason and see what y'all can learn. So, let's give it a go. Somehow. Where are we? Okay. Ta-da! On this episode, I'm going to tell you what to do with your air exchanger in a snowstorm. Plus,
Unregistered 2 apartments.
oh yeah, and Porky the Pig stops by. This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer. I'm going to leave it. This is the Ask Jason Show. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Jason Piercy. Welcome to episode 17 of the Ask Jason Show. Whew, I don't know why I sang. I'm in a pretty decent mood. Clearly. I have 3 quick questions to bang out, and I think we get out here early today, Joe. What do you think, buddy? I just kicked something. Okay, not hanging around. Let's just bang them out. First, I'm so squirrely. Why did I get a ticket for parking on the sidewalk? Okay. Here's a little bit of context. What we're talking about here is on those bigger streets. Like, what's a good example? Great Eastern Avenue up in Kenmount Terrace, where the houses are set back from the street further, and the sidewalk is a couple of meters back off the curb, and it's paved over the sidewalk onto the street. People are parking in their driveway across the sidewalk and getting parking tickets. So this has been a problem, probably in every city that has sidewalks, but it's been a problem in St. John's, particularly on that street, Great Eastern Avenue, because there is a lot of 2-unit or 2+ unit homes there. So you've got say 3 bedrooms in the main unit, 2 downstairs. So you got 5 persons in theory who could be sleeping there, perhaps more if there's a couple sharing a room or something, and they all drive because the city of St. John's is unfortunately not really a walkable city, and public transit here, sorry, excuse me, is less than desirable. It's shit. It's terrible. So you have too many cars in the driveway, so people park across the sidewalk, and that's still a problem. Joe, in the explanation there, did that picture well? Can you see in your? Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay, cool. Anyway, so you don't own the part of the driveway that goes from the sidewalk to the street. That's not yours. Your boundary line stops at the beginning of the sidewalk. So just for extra clarification, because, I don't know, I felt like I needed to do that. I probably didn't. Continuing. Hey, well, you might not like this. It's not your driveway. You don't own it. Look at your survey. Your land stops at the start of the sidewalk. On your side of the sidewalk, that's when your land starts. The rest of it belongs to the city. You might as well be parking up off of Prince Philip Drive. Pull up and just stop on a sidewalk. Same thing. Not your land. Don't park there. Well, you know what? Park there all you want. But when you get a ticket, and you're going to get a ticket, especially right now, the winter parking ban is in, there are people driving around just hoping to give you a ticket so the city can get some money. Don't park on the sidewalk. You don't.
You know what I learned after the fact? They have like lay people, like independent contractors that will do the overnight parking stuff. So like it's not your, I don't want to use the phrase meter maid, but you know what I mean? It's not the person whose job it is to go downtown, check the meters and give parking tickets. It's like a totally different service. And so they hire people to like go get that money because it's an expensive ticket and it's revenue for the municipality. Like it's like an extra tax. But parking tickets are sort of like taxes on the lazy. It's a lazy tax, or hurried, or rushed, or forgetful tax, or an I think I'm better than everybody else tax. It might also be one of those, or the rules don't apply to me tax. But listen, I've gotten lots of parking tickets, so don't get me wrong. And I have a permanent blue zone parking permit, right? So which is what we used to call the handicap parking, right? But in my God, this is bad. I have one, so I feel like it kind of gives me the credence to do this. But anyway, I don't use this phrase, but I do find it funny because it came out of the most innocent person, and they couldn't remember what it was called, and they called it paralyzed parking. Director Joe, shame on you. If there is a Hades, you will burn in it. Shame on you. Anyway, Director Joe also calls my fiance and the mother of my son, Waylon, she has celiac disease. He also calls her a glutard.
Done with that question. Next question. Done. This is a good time for one of those little splice just to the next section. Let's do a little bit of magic. We're going to snap into the next question. I don't know why I did that. Okay, here's a very important question.
That's an example of me trying to edit while we're filming and it not being my job, and Joe deciding to take creative credence and this is his creative credence revival. Anyway, I like that. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
It's important. Pay attention. What do I do with my HRV when it's a snowstorm? This is actually, I really do mean that this is important to pay attention. So
this is the most important part that everybody watched.
It's an air exchanger, but what it does is it balances the temperature of the fresh air coming in from outside with the stale air that's being replaced with fresh air, so that it increases the efficiency of your home. So all of the warm air that gets blown into your bedroom, or your fresh air that gets blown into your living spaces in your bedroom, isn't the temperature of what's outside. So that's the difference between an HRV and a regular air exchanger. But here's what you need to do when there's a snowstorm. This sucks air in from outside. If there's a lot of stuff falling from the sky, if it's really windy and rainy and snowy, that's going to pull that precipitation into the air exchanger unit. It's going to pull it in. And if it gets to the unit itself, it's fine, because it'll just melt, and there's a drip hose you would have noticed in a loop. That's all okay. Water in that unit is fine. But it's going to melt as it goes through the insulation from your exterior wall into the HRV unit itself. And that's just an insulated hose. So it's going to melt, it's going to be water, the hose is going to get sloshy and fill, and you're going to be able to shake it and hear it. And now you got to cut all that out and replace it, because it won't dry. It'll be there. It'll always be there. So
the hose is insulated, most of them with the same sort of fiberglass, fluffy sort of insulation that you'd have in an exterior wall and a fiberglass bat. They call them bats, the size and shape of them. So that wraps around an inner hose that is water I don't want to say waterproof because like nothing is waterproof. Over time, it'll get through it. But it's okay for some water and wind and rain and snow to get in there. That's fine. But if there's enough of it that it pools, it will deteriorate and it will get in and it'll soak the fiberglass insulation that's inside the hose. That's when you're going to have a problem. Because much like, here's another little key bit of advice, much like the screens in your, there's a window right here with a screen. The screens in your windows, take them out in the winter. Take them out. And the reason you take them out is because with cold outside and cold inside, cold outside and warm inside, you're going to increase the amount of condensation that's on your windows. And with the screen there, you don't get as much airflow. So that condensation will pool, it'll turn to mildew. And then if you don't clean up the mildew over a period of time, it can turn to mold. And then you go to sell your house and people walk by like, oh, mold and your windows are moldy. Now just take your screens out in the winter. You should. Joe's is a little damp. From condensation, but he left his screen in. Anyway, similarly, you get moldy insulation, and then that'll be a problem. And this blows air through your house, so you blow mold through your house.
Rainstorm, especially snowstorm, turn your HRV off. It's not going to be stormy long enough for all of the air in your house to get stale. You've still got exhaust fans in your bathrooms and shit. Like, turn your HRV off in a snowstorm. You learned something new? Did you learn something new? Joe, you learned something new? See, that's important. All right, snap to the next question. This is not a precedent. We will not always do that. This one I like. This is an important one. I'm glad somebody asked it. What the hell is an unregistered 2 apartment? Well,
you can tell by the maniacal look on my face there. I'm like, this has been a thing that I have harped on for a very, very long time. And I don't want to rant about it right now because I'm going to rant about it right now. But this one gets me. It's probably worse in my head now than it was like 10 years ago, because if I've been preaching it for 10 years, why the bleep has nobody listened? And this is, anyway, let's go.
It's funny you should ask. There's no such thing as an unregistered 2 apartment, only because there's no such thing as a registered 2 apartment. The city of St. John's does not have like this big long scroll of registered apartments. That's not a thing. What you really mean is what is a 2 apartment that doesn't have occupancy issued and compliance with the city of St. John's that is registered for 2 units. So occupancy permits for 2 units. That's what you're looking for. It's now more difficult to buy properties that don't have a compliance letter from the municipality that says it's approved for occupancy for 2 reasons. So from a financial perspective, if you're using the rent from the apartment to help subsidize the mortgage, and otherwise you couldn't afford to spend that other 30 or 40 or 50 grand, if you can't get a compliance letter from the municipality, your bank won't allow you to use that rental income towards your financing approval. So that's really all that matters about registered and unregistered apartments. As long as you've got a way to inspect the work and you feel comfortable with the quality of it, and that goes back to good
I'm glad I
inspectors,
added
good
that part.
realtors, and people who do diligence to go back to see when the work was done. So what is an unregistered apartment? It's a nothing. It's a thing. It's a made-up thing to scare people not to buy stuff that they don't always really need to be afraid to buy. I think we're good. That's enough for now. Thank you very much. And how do I usually end? But that's all, folks. No, it's not that. It's but that's all, folks. Is that right? How much of this are you going to edit now? If you see all of this, just know it's not coffee.
It is coffee. It is coffee. I should have said,
Joe, cut. I got to check Twitter.
it's not even called Twitter anymore.
On this episode...
This is exciting. That is a young Becky Peckham from Becky and Chris. Okay. That's the next episode. we can't. That's a little teaser for you. Sorry, Beck. Yeah. So I stand by pretty well everything that was said then. And yeah, the HRV thing, still true. Still very, very, very true. And turn them off in heavy wind and rain, especially if there's, no, always. A lot of wind, a lot of rain, a lot of snow, because it sucks air in. So not every time that it's raining, because that's almost always here. We're like England or Seattle. It's like, it's wet here. It's wet. So, but when it's bad, yeah, shut her down. And bleep, 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 bleep. That's all, folks. Porky the Pig. Very misleading, very clickbaity on the start there. And Porky the Pig stops by. He did not stop by. I did a terrible impersonation of him, which I don't stand by. I will audit that part. That part was terrible. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time when Becky Peckham stops by. That one will be true.